Welcome to the channel. I first and foremost just want to thank everyone. I finally reached 1 million views on a video. Granted, it's a repost, as I've said many times. I don't know if I've reached 2,000 subscribers. I'm gonna check real quick if I've reached 2,000. Alright, I checked and I do have 2,000 subscribers, so thanks for that as well. Now that I have that, I want to go ahead and show you guys what I've been doing. Because it hasn't been nothing, you know. Like I said, I wanted to do like a live stream with my VTubing model. I don't know if any of you guys watched my podcast, but that's the type of stuff that I'm primarily interested in doing. But right now, I got these going on. These are custom built ships from scratch, literally like block number 1. Something like what you see right there. That's how I built these, starting from the very first block. So this is Space Engineers. If you've never played it, it's a game that I love and I'm extremely interested in. And I just want to know if this is the type of thing anybody on my channel wants to see. Looks like I actually messed up here. I don't know why there's not a block in this space, actually. That's actually really strange. I don't know why there was just a straight up hole in a ship that I considered to be done. It must have been an accidental bleed. But this is a ship I built like 2 years ago. Basically it has that like USS New Era like destroyer kind of look to it, very futuristic. You can see I've got both antennas up top. That's not the right button. Both antennas up top. It's got a singular bridge right there. I'm not sure if you can hear me over my own jetpack. Right above where my head is, the glass parts of the bridge. I've got a bunch of guns on it, and I'm going to basically be fixing that and just adding a bunch of guns. Originally this was supposed to be a missile carrier type destroyer. I'm still going to try to convert it into that, but you can see the not modded guns are these rocket pods, which are really bad. The default weapons in this game are all awful. I got some spiky bits here. It doesn't have to look like that, but I thought it was a bit more interesting. And then on the bottom I've got these giant turbo laser cannons. This is what it looks like compared to a person for scale. You can see it's quite a bit bigger than me. Zoom in a little bit more, maybe go down here by the barrel. You can see exactly how big it is. I can actually sit inside it, and I could fit inside this thing. So yeah, that's just the barrel of these things. Same thing with these giant engines going on. I've got like a bunch of hydrogen engines, and the whole point of that was supposed to be that this thing could be atmospheric and fly in space, but that didn't work out. You can see it's a bit ugly on the bottom side. This was before I was using the clean armor blocks. Actually, no, this section must be the clean armor blocks and the rest of this isn't. I would just color the whole ship, but if you use the option to color an entire ship at one time, it often lags the game quite badly. It can definitely crash it, because this ship is... well, let's just hit F10 and go to Death Knot. Little lag spike there. Death Knot Star Wars weapons. I just called it the Death Knot. 9,980 blocks, so it's just under 10,000. Just under 10,000 blocks is how much this ship is. So painting every single block on it to the same color would, like I said, lag the game quite badly. But let's take a look inside real quick. You can see all the air come out of it, which means that it's properly airlocked. It's quite dark in here. I open this up and walk inside though. The lighting changes, and you're greeted with these nice little sections here. Looks like I didn't actually do this other side here. That's fine, I guess I could access that spot. This is just an example of like all the unused space I have in here. Like, this isn't well decorated, and like I said, I definitely need to repaint pretty much all of these blocks just so it looks a little bit better. Some air vents up there. Those ones are the dumb looking ones because it's before I learned that you're supposed to use the ones up there. Which are the actual air vents. Those are junctions, which you don't have to use to pass oxygen and whatever else through them. You can use these vent ones and then have junctions in the middle like that, which provide air, of course. And then I've got some docking bays up there. Only have 2 of them right next to each other as, you know, a design flaw. And then if I want to, of course, I have to get a little momentum. If I want to open these centered bay doors, which were supposed to deploy things like fighters, or I could just have a bunch of guns facing downwards for an orbital bombing type deal, I could do that. quite loud. Quite loud. Yeah, I'm not going to use hangar doors for anything ever anymore, because if you use too many of them, it just blows out the audio completely. Like, it sounds like a bass boost meme. But you have quite an awesome view. If you look down, you're looking directly into space. And if you're not careful, you'll fall right out. Of course, these ships do have artificial gravity, which is why I'm not floating everywhere. I think I'm just going to leave those open for the sake of my ears. Just to see this section's properly airlocked now. It's actually double airlocked. And those green lights up there indicate that the oxygen level is normal in here. I guess I'll keep exploring the bottom section and just show you what I've been working with. This section could be kind of like an assembly area or like a mess hall or something like that. Got a bunch of gyroscopes back here. I think this is actually not as many as I thought I had on this ship now. I definitely need to have way more. You got that cool green like coloration. If I sit in the middle of all of them, it looks pretty cool. Whoops. Yeah. I need to have more of these because the more gyroscopes you have on a ship, especially the larger ones, the easier it will be to manipulate it just by turning it. Like if I take my character and do this, basically you want your largest ships to be able to do that, but in order for that to happen, you know, the larger you make them, the more gyroscopes you need for them to be that dexterous, I guess I'd say. Their ability to actually move is determined by those. So if we take a look up here, this section is not airlocked. I didn't realize I actually had more gyroscopes here. This still isn't enough, though. This is not nearly enough gyroscopes. This is just where all the engines are. You can see that one leads directly outside. And I could airlock all these engines off, which I eventually need to do, just so when you enter these rooms, there's still oxygen. I should also mention, I usually don't play survival mode in this game. I'm pretty much exclusively playing in creative mode, so that I can build stuff like this. And then if people want like a survival series, then I'll do that, but it's just, you would need to accumulate so many parts and like facilities to be able to build any of these, you know? To be able to practically build this in survival mode, you would need to be so far into the game already. Because of course when you're playing survival mode, you can't just build whatever you want, you have to acquire all the parts and everything like that. As in, you know, Minecraft it, go find all the resources. This here is meant to be a sort of weapon station, I guess you would call it, where you would control all the guns. Got some button panels. I think there was a mod or something that I had where there's something called the gunnery seat, or the gunner's chair or whatever, and it looks a lot better than these default control stations. And then I also want to get a script for all these screens to have like cameras on them. You can change them. Excuse that little sun glitch there. The sun's obviously not supposed to just clip its light through. It's quite powerful, but it's not that strong. You can change what's on these screens, but I have no idea which ones are which, because I didn't do that when I placed them, which I should have. But there's not really a point in changing them, because that's not supposed to be the point anyway. Like, I mean, I guess I could demonstrate. Yeah, that my default view is the outside of the ship. This is the inside. Hit K here, and you can see, if you can hear over me, it's quite loud for me. So I've got all these LCD screens. I guess we'll go to number 10, and content. I've got text and images, but it does allow you to put a script on there. I'm pretty sure I don't have the script for camera stuff. I wonder if the radar one is on here. Graph, blueprint, badge. Looks like it's a bunch of posters on here right now. And you can have it cycle between them, but light screen. I guess I could just change it to danger. And then if I exit out of this, you can see we've got significantly more light, and it just, you know, says danger on there. We've got a few different shapes and sizes you can have for these things. But yeah, the so-called finished ship was more just getting a first working version out there. Pretty much one of the only things left to show off is the bridge. I of course need to fill this section with more, first of all it needs more visibility. There needs to be more windows up here or something, and then more of these sort of control seats. These ones definitely look a lot better. I'll probably put these ones down there. But these are an updated model. I don't think these were in the game when I initially did that, but that's a lot more the idea of what should be down there. Matter of fact, I'll probably replace it on the way back. And then, of course, I just have one of these up top. Again, there should be a lot more up here, but I guess I could start fixing that right now. I'm planning on doing some building anyway. So yeah, we can place all of these right next to each other, Star Wars fashion, where they're, you know, quite close to each other, where everybody would be sitting. And then I guess if I want to, right here in the front, I could have that. Can't walk between them anymore, but kind of gets the point across. And of course the other side is exactly mirrored. It's the same kind of hallway, and this right here is just an example of where I should have done something not like that. I don't know why it changed. Nope, nope. Something... oh, it was all wrong. Okay, that's why. It didn't change. Something like that should have been done. Technically, I guess that looks a little bit better, and then could put one of those up top. It looks a little bit better like that. That's just what I mean by that, you know. Stuff like this should have been there to begin with, but I just didn't put it there because I guess I didn't think about it. Like, building was a lot different back then. This would have been the most ambitious thing I had done in the game since then, since starting the game. But you can see it already looks a lot better. Just that shape, you know, kind of directs you to the side instead of just having that jagged shape over there. And then, like I said, if I go on this side, it is now built like that. It's mirrored because of the symmetry building in this game. Pretty much the only thing to show off is the rear engine room, which pretty much looks the same. But there is one thing I want to show down there, so I'll go ahead and head down there. Oops. Excuse my droid making human sounds. Let me turn on back off the HUD. Looks a little more immersive that way. Head back over here, take another epic glance at space. Looks pretty freaking cool. The sun's really bright on those objects down there in the lower left. Oh, shit. I hit the wrong button because my controls were reversed, and for some reason I thought going forward would make me go backward. But it didn't. So this right here is where we have two massive, and I mean massive, actually four massive hydrogen tanks which are supplying, I believe, all of the hydrogen for the ship. As I said, it doesn't matter in creative mode, I don't think. Pretty much all of this stuff just runs off of the same power. I don't think it ever runs out. But for instance, you can't build a ship and not have generators or whatever they need to be powered. You still have to put all that stuff down. So you see we got oxygen and hydrogen tanks for the hydrogen engines. And obviously the oxygen is also for just being able to breathe. Again, a bunch of junctions here because I was dumb. This should all be those right there. Those sort of vents. That's what it should all be. Maybe in the next video I'll have all that fixed if people are still interested by then. These are the four massive nuclear reactors powering this thing. And let me just say, those four right there are nothing compared to one of these, which is a modded X-20 arc reactor. Sounds very nerdy, but that's what it is. The X-20 is much more powerful than those. I've used, I think, single ones of these, or maybe like 4 of them to power entire Death Star lasers, which are also in the game. They're a mod, just like most of the stuff you're gonna see is, but this entire ship initially was built with completely the vanilla blocks in the game. So let's just head back outside. Wait a minute. How's it letting air out? Oh, wait a minute. That's weird. I didn't realize the airlock actually provides its own air. That's why air flew out of there, because the hangar doors over here are still open. I didn't think that was the case. No, it didn't do it. I guess air was trapped in there from before. It's actually pretty cool how dark it gets. It's like a little staging area or whatnot. So that was the previous biggest that was the biggest ship that I had built previously. Like I said, 9,000, what was it, 980? 20 blocks away from being 10,000 or more. This is what I'm currently working on. And you can see already it looks a hell of a lot cleaner. I mean, that's just beautiful. I wish I had this on max graphics so you could truly appreciate it, but I think it already looks amazing. I mean, if I had this in Star Wars gray, then you'd get the real idea. I think it looks alright in white for now, but maybe I could color a little bit up. Okay, there we go. We have... This is what it would look like in Imperial Gray right here, this little section. So, yeah, this really isn't an understatement for the ship either, how big this looks compared to a human. This is just one block right here, which you can see, if I'm not mistaken, yeah. One block is already about the size of a human, and this thing is, I think, 10 blocks tall. So we've got just that one little section colored in Imperial Gray now. It's not quite as big as like a Star Destroyer, but I think it looks better from the front right now, because you can see, I mean, just how amazing that looks, and how huge it is compared to the other ship. 10,000 blocks over there on the right side. And then, for reference, there's a smaller blue ship in the corner right over there. That one's nowhere near the size of that one, which is just under 10,000, as I keep saying. And this one, I'm not actually sure. Before I even had the like middle blocks placed in this thing, so basically the meat in the middle, because I build the outline first, I build the whole of what I want, and then I'll go ahead and fill that in. That's actually a cool pattern we have over the top now, like some little section. I need to do more of that, because my paintwork on the ships, as you can see, is quite bad. Very underrated aspect. But that's why I put down a little control seat and a reactor, is so I can map out how many... I can find out how many blocks this actually is. That was super loud for no real reason. Yeah. A little less than I thought. We're at 34,000 blocks already. I don't know why all the sound effects in this game have to be super ear rape compared to everything else. Matter of fact, I'll just go ahead and crank down the game sound. You can see it's already very low, but there. That's a little bit better. So yeah, this ship that I'm building here is 34,000 right now. I have a few ideas for what I'm going to do. Like, this middle section here is probably going to be an actually decent sized hangar. It's not that tall right now. Like, I'm not sure. The ship that you might have seen earlier that I was messing with was this one right here, is what I'm building. And that's one of the reasons why I stopped with the larger ship. Man, that looks absolutely amazing from down here. You get an idea for the scale of it. I mean, it's bigger than anything around us. All of these pretty huge looking asteroids right here. This one that this station is on, this like transport ship I'm working on. Those other little frigates, and even, of course, the Death Knot up there is all dwarfed by that massive ship. And I can almost guarantee you that if that ship right there isn't even a third of that one, then probably this station and every ship around it, including the Death Knot, is probably not as many blocks as that ship is. That ship probably weighs more than all of them, everything you can think of. You can see this station has these little like default turrets on them. All the default weapons in the game are pretty bad compared to what you can have with mods, which this game... That was very laggy. This game has some of the best mods I've ever seen in a game, and they're not even real traditional mods. I wouldn't even call them that, because with the Steam Workshop, it's literally like a button click. You hit subscribed and then it's automatically put in the game. You don't have to mess around with the files or anything like that. Any of that messy chunk I've had to do for other mods and games. That's pretty much why I love this game. All that type of stuff is super simple, and things like that are not even that hard to build because of the features implemented in this game. But that's about it for now. I just wanted to showcase that ship. I was planning on building a little bit of it. Like, I mean, I guess I can demonstrate what that looks like, just so you guys have an idea. Probably go ahead and just put on like a back section of the ship for now. I'm not entirely sure what I want to do, though, is the problem. I just had an idea in my head that might be cool, which would be like a hangar bay in the back, so that ships could fly in through the back and then out through the sides like they do in Star Wars. A lot of the much larger ships in Star Wars have like Basically, like a hangar bay door would be right here, and there would be one on the other side, so that you could fly through the thing if you needed to, but basically so that you could land inside it, and then you could have that side, or you could have a traffic system, so it's only one way through both doors. But I just thought the idea of being able to fly directly towards the back of the ship instead of always having to fly around to the front would be a pretty cool idea as well. And then the best part about that type of system in this game is, even though you don't have like real working AI in this, like, you really don't. There are some mods for things like that, but basically I could have an entire system of like smaller ships using remote control technology like drones, and they could fly patrol routes, and I could tell them to basically come back to the ship and like dock with it and, you know, refuel and everything like that. I could have that entire system going, so you could see an entire, you know, live, basically a ship that looks like it's alive. You could have an entire Star Wars sequence going on. Like, if I wanted to demonstrate what I mean by that, and, I mean, I guess I could. The problem with building right now is, like I said, I'm still not totally sure what I want to do with this. I was probably going to plan work on the smaller ship and get that done, and the reason why I wanted to do that first was so I have a reference point. I would know exactly how big I need to make these hangar doors for the biggest ship that's going to be going in and out of it. And then there'll probably also be a docking port for this ship, so that that one can refuel and rearm with this ship that acts as sort of a battlefield mothership, if you will. There will probably only be 2 of these on a battlefield at the time. And then Space Engineers also has tools in the game which basically allow you to create like fight sequences like that. So that's one of the other cooler parts. And there would be no trouble with me finding targets, because this game has some pretty mean AI in it. I know I said it didn't have working AI, but I kind of meant in the friendly sense. It really doesn't. But nevertheless, yeah, I think I'll just end it for this one. This is more of a showcase than anything, and it'll give me a good idea if people want to see more videos of this style. So in the next video, I'll just plan out finishing that other ship, then we'll see what we're going to do with the hangar, and I could probably demonstrate what I mean with the AI ships as well. Actually, we'll do the AI ships right now. So let's see, if I go to drone, the good old autism drone, let's just see if the dread drone works. How does this thing not have any thrusters on it? What the hell? That's kind of weird. Dread. It's supposed to have thrusters on it. I don't know why it didn't. Oh. Oh, psh. That was dumb. See, this other dread drone is docked with the ship, so of course it thought I wanted the entire ship, which I did not. So we've got the little dread drone here. I'm not even sure which way this thing's supposed to be oriented. I guess it was just a baseline. But what you would do to have a sort of Sado... Hold on, I'm just watching this ship approach. Military mine layer. I might demonstrate what I do to ships like that that enter my territory. But before I do that, if I just wanted to set up a new from current position, we'll just call this point 1. Set that up right there. I come over to a spot like this. Info point 2. And then maybe one like out here, so we get like a triangular pattern. I'll just show you how this looks. Point 3. So we got all those. Let me try and get this done before this ship actually gets close enough to do something. Let's see. You have antennas. Some of the basic things required for this to work are both entities that you want to command from, and command, I guess, need to have antennas. Obviously this ship does. So what I would do is go to the dread drone here. I can go to its remote control, and then what I'm going to do is add all 3 of those points. And what I'm going to do is set it to, I guess, patrol mode. Actually, we'll set it in a circle. No, we'll do patrol. Patrol mode, it's going to go forward. Camera. I don't know what assign camera does. I guess we could do that. I'm going to turn precision and collision avoidance on. I'm going to turn autopilot on. Current waypoint. So I guess it's moving. But the cool thing is if I go to this camera and I hit view, we can actually see what it's seeing while it's traveling over there. Seems like it's kind of twisting and turning in a weird way. We'll go see what it's doing with our own eyes. But you can watch what it's doing on the camera, so you could pilot those as a more traditional drone if you want. That's what the remote control is for. It's not just so that I can move it, it's also so it can move itself. But there we see it kind of going about its merry way. Looks like it's heading over to point 1, I think. Not sure why it's taking that route. I may have put the thrusters on it incorrectly. I thought I had thrusters facing in every direction. I think we set it to patrol mode though, so I'm not... Oh, maybe that's why. Yeah, I guess patrol mode patrols it around points, because it looks like it's doing a circle now. Alright, but then last thing I want to do is see if I can catch up to that ship that's up there and attack it with my guns. You'll see how overpowered this is just with these guns. Made a nice little section here to descend the stairs. Looks like I've got 2 droids in here already commanding this thing, so we'll just switch to one of them real quick. Yeah, whoever I have right now is fine. Let's see if we can't... Ah, shit. Am I stuck on this? Okay, well there goes their docking port right there. I didn't realize I was oriented how I was, but my shield saved me from any damage, I believe. We'll see if we can't catch up to this ship up here. This is a default ship. The only thing I did was add guns to it, and then the big cubes on the sides are for gyroscopes, because I think I made it quite a bit heavier than it initially was. So of course I added gyroscopes to make it easier to move. And like I said, I've got a bunch of Star Wars guns on this thing. I'm aware that the bridge on this ship doesn't look exactly right. I still think it's cool though how it's like a little... It's like you're playing with Legos, you know? Like you can see the bridge in there, but if I hit view, like that's where we actually are, inside this bridge, controlling this thing. And I can control it right now. I can move it up and down and left and right. That's exactly why I replaced the default bridge with this, like, glass one. I think the ship we were after just disappeared. Okay, well that sucks. Oh wait, never mind, that's a destroyed ship over there. Can still fire off the guns though, these are the front ones. You can see it looks a little Star Wars-y, like maybe if I can turn off some of this bloom it'll look a little bit better. Okay, no, that doesn't really help. Can demonstrate that, and then if I wanted to take control of like the giant turbo laser guns, for instance, then where are the turbo lasers? Turrets. Oops, that's not what I needed. That's also not what I needed. Control. I hit 4. Can see that I can control one of these 2 massive guns here. And it makes more of a traditional Star Wars noise. The reason I'm using these is because I think they're far more interesting. Like I said, they're way more effective and in my opinion far more interesting than the default guns in the game. So, just better all around. I don't know if I have the range to hit that. I don't think I do. What about this one? It's kind of OP how fast these things can shoot for their size. And the damage they do is pretty good. Yeah, it doesn't look like I have the accuracy to hit this thing. These do not go straight while I'm aiming, as you can see. That one did. Either of those, that one didn't. That one didn't. That one didn't. Yeah, but I have a nice zoom control, like just like I do with the cameras, and it zooms in pretty far. Like, I don't know where that red ship. Oh, there it is, right there. If I zoom in, like we can see it right here. I forgot that was one of the ones I was actually testing on. I tested a lot of the weapons on it, which is why it's already messed up. Missing some of these shots. I don't know how far away it is, but I don't think we have the range to hit it. Alright, that's about all I wanted to demonstrate and more. So, I guess I'll go ahead and head out, as I must do with all these dumb space engineers videos. I've got to follow the tradition and use the wave animation. So I guess I'll see you later. Like I said, next time we'll do some more building. I'll demonstrate everything a little bit more. And yeah, this is one of the games that I want to do this type of stuff in. I'm enjoying Chivalry 2 right now, kinda, so that'll maybe be one of the more action-packed games I have to play if people aren't interested in just hearing me talk and chill, but I love this game. I don't know what else to say. So, more Star Wars oriented stuff, probably more cool mods in the next one, but for now, I guess I'll see you guys later.